Guys, wanted to talk today about the Coinbase and Norwegian bank merger. They're not really merging per se, but you'll be able to go on the Norwegian bank's website and buy Bitcoin from Coinbase. Intriguing idea, good, interesting, I'm all for innovation and building businesses, but we got to ask the questions. Do we want the banks to be involved in Bitcoin? The whole point of Bitcoin is to get away from banks. We don't want to become the bank, in a sense, and we don't want any central authority to become the bank. And I guess that's what my problem is with this particular situation is there's a lot of centralized exchanges out there, right? And you don't want to keep your Bitcoin on them at all. But we also don't want to allow for these exchanges to amass giant amounts of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, because then they'll just become the issuer of that cryptocurrency. Now, of course, you can't manipulate the supply of said currency, but you'll still have that central authority. And that's a big issue. That is a really, really big issue for me. At least it should be in the cryptocurrency community. That's the whole point of Bitcoin. The point of Bitcoin is to decentralize and beat the banks. And that would be that's the ultimate goal, right? And that's what we're hoping for. That's what we're shooting for, and hopefully that will happen. But if we allow the centralized exchanges to grow and amass more and more Bitcoins, then they will just become the issuer of the currency. They'll have the power. Remember, money is power, and if they have all the money, then they get all the power. So that's just something to consider. I hope that you guys keep that in mind when buying from centralized exchanges. But, eventually I think that will fade away. I think we'll come up with decentralized exchanges, and new ideas will prevail. New innovative technologies that will allow for decentralization of power and money will come to the forefront, which I'm excited to see. And that brings me actually to another project that's been around for a little while. That's Storj. Storj is moving away from the current blockchain that they've been using for payments. They were using Counterparty as their token of choice to build off of. Well, that particular project, Counterparty, is just built off of the Bitcoin blockchain. It's what's known as a colored coin. And the problem is Bitcoin has all these unconfirmed transactions. I think right now it's at 199,000 unconfirmed transactions. That's a big deal, that's a big problem. That's really slowing down the network, and that's a problem. So it needs to be resolved quickly, needs to be resolved very quickly, but we'll see what the scaling debate brings. We'll see where that goes. But anyway, Storj, I wanted to talk about Storj just because, for those of you who do not know, it is a decentralized storage cloud, which is pretty interesting. Basically, the idea is you use unused storage space from all different corners of the earth on different computers, and you rent out your unused hard drive space, and you earn money for it, Storj coin. And that's pretty interesting. I think that's pretty cool. But the reason I want to bring this particular project up, and projects like it, is because we have a situation where in technology we haven't seen real innovation, and we haven't seen true new ideas come to the forefront. Ideas like this is really good to see. I like seeing it. And I've been keeping up with Storj and some of those other projects, cloud storage, decentralized cloud storage companies, for a little while, and this is what I got to say on them. Good. I think that is probably the way of the future. If we continue to use companies like Google, and we use their current quote-unquote cloud storage, which really isn't a cloud, it's just a centralized mainframe server somewhere in a server room. That isn't the cloud. The cloud is not the Google. It is not Google. It is not Facebook. It is not Twitter. It's none of these companies. None of these companies are the cloud. The cloud is the internet, and the internet is decentralized by its very nature. And unfortunately, all information has become centralized, and that's a big problem, especially at least in my mind. I think that it's a big issue, and I think that we should really consider the fact that this is going on and this is happening, that our data is at risk being held on any centralized system, whether that be on Coinbase or whether that be on Google. If we store our Bitcoins on Coinbase, Coinbase could be hacked and then we lose our Bitcoins. If we hold our information on Google Drive, then Google could be hacked and we could lose our data. So, you know, if my recommendation is to have backups of backups on backups on cold storage. So if you've got a really important piece of information, keep it on many cold storage devices, many USB drives that you're not going to lose, but that is secure in a safe, somewhere like that. Because if you keep your information on a Google Drive, for example, then all that data is susceptible to attack. We just had last week a giant malware attack known as WannaCry. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it, where they were asking for Bitcoin and they held computers for ransom. They had all their data. They had everything. And if all the people that did not back up their data or did not hold their information on a cold storage device, such as a USB drive, they just lost all of their data. They lost everything because there's no way of fixing this, at least currently. There was a guy that fixed it temporarily, but apparently the attacks are still happening. They're still going on, and we're still having issues. So make sure to keep your information off of centralized exchanges and centralized systems. One other point I want to make about centralized systems and decentralized systems is that decentralized systems, by their very nature, threaten the power structure. And when you start to threaten the power structure, you start being come after. You start being attacked on a regular basis. So to those in the Bitcoin community right now that are doing videos, they're fairly large, I want to prepare them for the shitstorm that's going to come once Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies become mass adopted. Once these things become widely available, every power structure in the world will start coming after you, calling you a conspiracy theorist, a racist, sexist, bigot. They're going to try and discredit you with all this nonsense, and what you have to know is you aren't that. You are not racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, whatever. And you have to remain strong throughout all of the lies and all of the deceit, because that's what we'll see. We'll see a lot of that in the near future if Bitcoin continues to grow like it is. So I want you guys to be careful about that, okay? That's very, very important. Decentralization threatens the very core of what centralization means, and that is power. So when you start attacking power and when you start taking that on, just be prepared for a a backlash. Anyway, guys, this is Blackburn, and I just want to say thank you all to the subscribers and all the comments. You guys are wonderful. I'm really looking forward to what you guys have to say in the comments. Just make sure to leave a comment, share, subscribe, do all the good old stuff, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, everybody.